Eli Valentine.
Alright, so we're doing a fake cop realizes he's been arrested. Let's get it poppin'.
Cops are supposed to be here to protect us.
So that was,
But what
Rick
happens
Grimes for a
when
second.
criminals pretend to be the cops to abuse their
Hi,
power?
Ash.
In this video, we'll cover 3 examples of this, starting with Jackson Jones, who was pulled over after cops received reports of a strange police officer aggressively questioning random people around town.
What?
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything like that?
No fake cop.
I don't even have a gun.
6 of the day?
19 years old. If this is gonna cause problems, the truck's over there. I'm just gonna take out the vest, and I'm from Tennessee.
Yeah,
So,
Tennessee.
Why are you wearing the vest?
like
Right.
I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee.
Jones says he's from Tennessee, over 500 kilometers away from where he was pulled
Yo!
over in Oklahoma. So it's strange that he's still got on all his police gear, especially given he's off duty, and the cops think so too.
Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility?
I bet.
Is this an agency vehicle or is this your personal vehicle?
This is my deal.
It's just a little odd because whenever I worked in the jail, I took my crap off, especially if I was taking a long drive from Tennessee.
Right.
You got any kind of employment identification?
Dude, they don't give me that when you work at the jail.
What?
Really? You don't have like an access card or an ID badge?
You're
or
the
anything?
only YouTuber who makes videos in less than 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's an absolute lie. There's many streamers that do way more reaction than me in a stream.
Thing for the facility that you work at.
I don't.
Way more.
When Jones fails to produce any form of certification that proves he works in law enforcement, the cops start to get extremely suspicious. Not
That's
only was he
shorts?
wearing a police uniform, but he was also pulling civilians over and aggressively questioning them. The cops know something is up with this guy. They just need to figure out what he's doing
There
and,
are things
more
in the middle.
importantly, why.
And you don't
Do
have
it
a gun with you or
consistency.
anything like that?
Okay.
You don't mind if I search the car?
I don't care.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. Step on out if you don't mind. Face the vehicle, I'll just check you for, make sure you don't have any guns or nothing.
As Jones steps out of the car, we can see that he is in full police uniform, complete with handcuffs. Even if Jones was a jail worker in Tennessee, as he claims, he doesn't have jurisdiction to arrest people in public.
Right.
All the signs point to
Oh,
something
I
being
need some
seriously.
McDonald's right now, bro. Oh my god, I need some McDonald's, bro. I need my banana strawberry smoothie. Oh my god.
Wrong here. So, given
his
he's
car?
been granted permission by Jones, the officer decides to conduct a full search of the vehicle.
He gave the
We'll
permission.
just check everything out. If everything's good, then we'll go on.
Right. Yeah, you got Chick-fil-A bags. Yo, clean your car, bro. What's
One
going
empty
on?
bottle, one partially missing bottle, and then 2 more to go, and it was a pack of 6. Just all kinds of red flags, man. I would not drive from Tennessee with a vest carrier on.
No.
Or
Right.
even a duty belt on.
As soon as I get off, I take that shit off. I'm tired of being in it.
I hate
Yeah, who wants to stay in uniform? Chick-fil-A bags go hard.
The
What?
officer took Jones to his patrol vehicle while he finished off the search, and Jones would take this opportunity to further prove how delusional he really is.
Why don't we go have a seat in my Tahoe? Go have a seat in my Tahoe. No, back seat.
Asking whether he can sit in the front seat seems to prove that he fully believes these cops are nothing but his friends and
But they don't believe you,
backed
buddy.
up by the fact that he's wearing a thin blue line
Ah,
hoodie,
shit.
a sort of cop pride symbol that shows how connected Jones feels to his position in law enforcement. But then the officers asked to talk to his supervisor, something that would easily confirm whether or not Jones
Right.
is who he says he is. But it doesn't go quite as expected.
Where'd you
American
get the vest
hoodie?
carrier from? Did you order it online?
No.
From a friend or
I didn't get it off.
bought it at a store?
It's a police store up there in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
You can only be law enforcement to get it. I bought it like 4 months ago. You can take all this stuff from me and keep me out of jail. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I bought all that stuff. None of that stuff was given to the county.
Give me your phone back.
Like I said, I'm not going to see DPS.
All right. Cool. 423-494. Yes, this is
Make
definitely
the call,
Mike
make the
from
call.
Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. I'm out on a individual saying he works for Campbell County Sheriff's Office by the name of Jackson Jones. You'll give me a
Jackson
call back
Jones.
405-869. So it went to a voicemail. So that's like not an official work number.
The number that Jones gave was fake, or at least not belonging to an official police department. Jones was either hoping that they'd give him the benefit of the doubt when it hit voicemail, or that he could convince someone to call them back and pretend to be his supervisor. Either way,
What's the
it
fuck
didn't work,
happened, bro?
and the final nail in the coffin was when the witness he pulled over turned up to the scene and completely exposed his story.
He was dressed like a cop. They had sheriff written on the side right here. He was sitting in a driveway, and I started for about 10 minutes of staring at him, and I'm like, man, who's this guy? It's kind of odd. He's in our neighbor's
Let me put the story real quick.
He gets out, and I said, can I help you, sir? He's like, well, I was wondering what was your problem? You were staring at me over in the driveway, and I said, yeah, I was kind of curious who you was. 'Cause I lived down the road. I was kind of seeing what was
Snitch?
going on. He goes,
I'll bet snitch too, though, okay? A high character. I would definitely snitch my ass off.
And he left, and then when he left, he came towards.
Here we go again with this doc. Yo, we quiet, how about you shush? I told y'all, chat, we are a true crime community now, okay? We believe, we live, and believe that true crime game, okay? It's not a joking matter. We are true crime streamers now. Like, it wasn't a joke.
Turnpike bridge.
It wasn't a joke. This ain't it. No, we are not. Yes, y'all are, bro. Yes, y'all are.
Not only did the witness attest that Jones seemed to be unlawfully pulling over anybody that came into view, but he also told the officer that Jones claimed to be an officer out of Wellston, a town in Oklahoma.
God,
a
what?
far cry from Knoxville, where he told the cops he worked.
Because I'm not.
As far as the
You
officers
can make
were
judgment because I'm
concerned,
not. Okay.
that was reason enough to bring him in, and they immediately went back to the control vehicle to arrest him.
Yeah, I know I'm going to jail. Alright, turn around, face the other way.
Alright.
You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, alright? And then you also have a charge for transporting an open container.
The penalty for impersonating a police officer is between 1
Class
and
4
3
felony?
years jail time.
God damn.
You'll likely be facing a small fine from the open container charge as well. But most importantly, Jones is now off the street. The only reason someone like him would ever impersonate a police officer is simply because they enjoy the position of power and authority it gives them. If someone is willing to lie in such a brazen way to obtain that power,
Right.
who knows what they're willing to do with that power? And that was exactly the
Daniel
problem police
Nelson.
found with Daniel Nelson.
Why are you
Police
staring at me
found him
like that
next to
for?
a fully outfitted vehicle that heavily resembled a cop car, complete with lights
Yo.
and emblems claiming that it was in fact a local police
Oh,
vehicle.
he
Nelson
went all
claims that
out.
He patrols as a police officer for a church, helping out homeless people by checking on them and ensuring they're not in danger.
Man's a
But the cops
liar.
felt as though something was off.
Right, me too.
This guy's on. He gave me his card, but see if you can try to grab a VIN on it for me while I'm talking to him. He works for a church. There's no plate on it. I just noticed. I mean, I noticed before after you talked to me that there was no plate on it, but he's got a dog in there. Just be aware.
If y'all here, something happened.
Homeless guy?
I'm here on a separate entity. I'm not a part of that.
Oh, but something happened. Cause you say it's a dude.
I'm here for something else, bro.
I'm not even something else.
They're their own.
Nelson says that he was called out to look for a homeless person that was possibly in crisis. But after talking to the guy, he decides that everything's fine and heads out. But before he goes, the cop asks for his date of birth, claiming they just want his information to take down for their list of local officers, not from the official police department. In reality, though, the cops used his name and date of birth to run his information and find his address so they could investigate further the next day.
Why did I do that too? I'm tripping, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why did I do the dog sign as well? But I'm tripping.
I could hear him in there talking to his dogs.
I'm hungry, bro.
Despite the fact that nobody answered the door, the fake police car was outside the house, the dogs were home, and they could hear him inside talking to the dogs. Above all that, it was 6 in the morning. The cops were almost 100% certain Nelson was inside, but refused to answer to the cops. However, the police definitely didn't expect what happened next.
What happened?
Later that day, Nelson turned himself in at the police station.
Okay.
You You decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present. You have the right to stop the questioning and remain silent at any time you wish, and the right to ask for
Go,
a
lawyer, bro.
at any time you wish, including.
I
during the
thought that
question.
was the
You
dog.
understand each of these
I
rights?
thought that was the dog. Huh?
Say yes. Yes.
What followed was a 20-minute interrogation where Nelson seemed completely delusional. At
Ooh, I
no
kinda wanna
point
watch
did he
that.
ever seemed to accept that what he was doing was against the
I kinda
law.
wanna watch
and
that, bro.
whenever he was met with an issue, he responded by saying he was a man of God and working in his name.
Never once in 10 years have I associated myself with being a police officer. It's never changed. Never.
I'm
Never.
just telling you, our witness says you did it at least twice.
Twice?
You
How did
identified
he-
yourself
I've
as a
never even
police
seen that
officer
before.
twice while you were talking to him. He said you identified yourself, and that's the only reason he stopped to speak with you.
So at this point,
He said he felt it was odd that you would stop him while walking.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but why would you stop to talk to somebody at 3 in the
Because
morning?
that's the description of somebody I was in. Backpack, same very thing I told you.
Yeah, you told me it was a white subject that was your...
See that with his hoodie on? I've never once in my entire career of doing this for a decade,
Decade.
devoted to God, have ever
God
made
first,
that
though, man.
Okay.
This is the story Nelson maintained throughout the entire
Ash, I catch you,
interrogation,
bro.
that he's worked for God and the church, and he's just there to help people. But obviously, with the witness statement and patrol vehicle rigged with sirens and lights, the police weren't believing
little bro.
a word. But that raises a different question. If Nelson wasn't out there trying to protect these people at 3 a.m., what was he doing talking to them? It's probably
What?
for the best that he'll
Oh, what time, by the way? 'Cause I might come back. It is only 8:07 p.m. for me.
be spending at least a year behind bars in the Wisconsin State Prison. These last two suspects have been so caught up in their fantasies that they impersonated officers with absolutely no prior experience as one.
Ah,
But
shit.
the case is different for Jaredson Mackey, a man that had been fired from the force but took matters into his own hands.
Good boy.
Hey, partner.
There's no chat right now,
Hey, I'm
but
Officer Parker
I didn't
Beck with
see you.
Police Department. How are you? The only reason why I'm pulling you over, I guess y'all were, well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all are with or what was going on.
The cops had
Friends?
seen Mackey
Was
flash
it
his lights
cop?
and go around
What?
traffic, something that real cops aren't allowed to do, let alone those in suspicious-looking vehicles that aren't even registered with the police force.
Yeah, I'm an off-duty hero operator.
Oh, off-duty hero operator?
How you doing, Chief? Hey. I'm an off-duty operator. I just working off regularly. That's my ID. That's my badge.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all this emergency lights? And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Eckworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice? That's a standstill. So I flashed the lights so people could see me that I was trying to get in the line.
Who do you work for?
This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police
No,
officer.
sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
Mackey claims that he's an
Off-duty
off-duty
hero.
hero or highway emergency
was that?
response
Oh.
operator whose job is to clear the roads and ensure normal traffic flow is restored around accidents.
Oh.
However, his vehicle should be registered to the Georgia Department of Transportation instead of himself, so red flags are immediately raised to the police
Why-
chief,
why you making that
especially
face in
when
the
he
corner?
hears that he was weaving through traffic while
Weaving?
off duty.
ID on you?
Yes, sir. We look in the front. We look in the
Yeah,
front.
I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out.
Yeah, that's sir. That's when.
Blinded by the
Where's your
lights.
ID?
Right,
Yo, I'm gonna play the weekend in a minute.
No.
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right down the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Be right back with you, okay? There's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the lighting permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes.
No, you're right.
You can't be using it to pull in the traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay?
I want to verify your employment, and I'm probably going to have CID look into this, to be honest with you, to see what you're doing.
I know, Chief.
I don't feel good.
Chief, I can show you my LLC. I can show you my LLC right now.
I'll let them handle it.
Mackey was given a citation for unlawful operation of an emergency vehicle and let go for
Man.
the time being. But when the officers returned back to the station and contacted the GDOT, they discovered that Mackey was a hero operator, but had been terminated from them in January 6 months earlier.
Wait, why?
He had kept his badge and permits and knew exactly what to say to the officers for them to believe that he was well within his rights to operate his vehicle. But luckily, these cops were too smart to get caught out, and Mackey was arrested for impersonating a police officer 2 days later. If you enjoy true crime videos...
Goddamn. What if I was a cop? Copyright?
My boys blooded, I got my bag and they know it. She wanna pose for a photo, I don't want nothing to do with it. Gotta stand the clip so that I keep my palm in the trunk. Keep that 30